Hi, it's Mark Carrier again. One of the questions I often get from different clients and friends of mine, and particularly retail, people in the retail industry, is they ask me, what should you pay to acquire a retail customer's contact details? Now, this answer will vary from retailer to retailer depending on their particular situation, but generally speaking, if your average transaction value and margins are generally low, then you'll most likely want to keep your acquisition costs low too. Makes sense, doesn't it? Now, if you sell higher ticket items with greater margins, then you may well be able to afford to spend much more. Now, major retailers, particularly those with online shopping channels, have built acquisition systems through loyalty programs and newsletters, and they also add transaction history to their customers' records. Now, aside from helping them determine a customer's value to them, the intelligence gained from these systems helps to cost-effectively target customers with relevant offers to increase the frequency of their purchases and prolong their relationships. Now, for many small and independent retailers, this may be quite difficult because they haven't built a database or have a customer relationship management system in place to help them calculate their customer's value. Now, the best way of determining what acquisition costs you can afford is to firstly have a clear understanding of customer lifetime value. Let's call that CLV. Average transaction value. Let's call that ATV. And marketing cost to sell, which I call MCOS. CLV is simply calculating the amount of profit a customer provides you over the lifetime of your relationship with them. So as a formula, it would be CLV equals, in brackets, the average profit per purchase, close brackets, times the number of purchases they make in a year, and also multiplied by the number of years that they are your customer. Now, calculating average transaction value, or ATV, can be relatively simple. Just divide last year's total sales value by the number of sales made. Once you've determined the average transaction value, you can determine how much of that transaction you can afford to invest in making that sale. That's your marketing cost of sale. So marketing cost of sale is usually a percentage you've attributed to the cost of making a sale. Most businesses simply calculate their marketing cost of sale by dividing the total cost of their marketing efforts by the total sales value related to the marketing spend. So as an example, if you spent $100,000 in total marketing costs, advertising, staffing fees, consulting, everything, all in, and you've achieved $800,000 in sales, your marketing cost of sale is 12.5%. So, if your marketing cost of sale is 12.5% and your average transaction value is $100, then your marketing cost of sale is $12.5. Once you understand your marketing cost of sale, you'll be able to calculate what you should pay for a customer's email address and other information, and for example, their mobile phone number. Now, you can do this with a little reverse engineering by calculating the average response rate or anticipated response rates you achieve in your email campaigns to customers, as demonstrated here. Now, if you look at campaign costs, working with an average CLV, for example, your creative might have been $250. I mean, you put in the numbers as they apply to you. Email deployment costs, say half a penny for each record that you sent this to. Marketing staff, that's the labor portion per the campaign that you've attributed. Database costs, portion per campaign. And then, of course, any other costs that are involved in there. So in this example, you get a campaign cost of $375. Now, when you look at your email campaign activity, let's assume for this example, we sent out 5,000 emails. We got a net response rate of 1%. Now, I'm talking past the click-through rate and all of this. I'm talking about actual responders, okay? And that means that we got, say, 50 purchasers. The average transaction value of the items that they bought came out to $75. So that means 50 times $75, you got a total sales value of $3,750. And then your marketing cost of sale, of course, is $7.50. because you would divide $37.50 by the 50 purchasers. And that means if $7.50 as a percentage of your average transaction value, your marketing cost of sale is 10%. Now, if you're calculating email address acquisition cost, let's say you've determined your marketing cost of sale percentage, the budget for that is 12.5%. So you figure, budget percentage less the actual. In this case, the actual was 10%. That means you've got a difference of 2.5%. So when you look at the dollar value, that's the marketing cost of sale budget less the actual.
You get a dollar value of $9.38.
So when you look at an email cost for email records per campaign, you're
just under a penny.
So if you're looking at how many campaigns you would do a year, assuming you would send them a EDM or an offer once a month, so you're looking at your acquisition cost per your email record per annum comes out to 22.5 cents. Now, if you anticipate you'll have a customer on average for 3 years,
that means you can afford to spend just under 7 cents to acquire that customer's email address.
Now, this example is simply to help you, with a process to determine what you can afford to spend to acquire a customer's email address. Naturally, each retailer will have different costs and values associated with the campaign cost, transaction value, and customer lifetime. So, you'll need to make the necessary adjustments as they relate to your particular situation to determine what you can afford in acquisition cost per record or per customer's email and mobile phone number address. So, how does this apply to my best customers? In the example earlier, we were speaking about the average customer. Now, if you have sufficient information to identify those customers with the highest customer lifetime values, the CLVs, then you should test specific campaigns directed solely to them. You'll want to determine the actual numbers with regard to net response rates and average transaction value. The learnings you'll gain will likely help you see that you can afford to spend much more to acquire the contact details for these very valuable customers. To show you the difference in what you can afford in acquiring their information, I made a few slight adjustments to the response rate, average transaction value, and customer lifetime value in the formula we used previously. You should be seeing this now. Now, the creative execution, the portion of the campaign, is still $250. Email deployment's $25. The marketing staff portion of the campaign's $50. Database costs are $50. So the campaign costs are the same, all right? Emails deployed, same, but now the net response, because these are more engaged customers, better customers, it's 1.6%, so it goes up slightly. That means you get a slight increase from 50 to 63 new purchasers, and let's say their transaction value is just marginally higher at $80. So that means your total sales value has now jumped from $37.50 up to just over $5,000. Now, when you look at your marketing cost of sale, again, divide that $5,040 by 63 purchasers, you come out at just under $6. And when you look at your marketing cost, you're just under 7.5%. So when we go to calculate our acquisition cost, your budget's 12.5%, less your actual, which is 5.1. Okay, that's the difference between 12.5 and 7.4.
And then you've just got your dollar value of budget less actual of $19.13.
When you look at the amount per email record, dividing that by the email records, you're looking at basically 5 cents, 5.14.
Times 12, of course, and you've got almost 5 cents per record.
Almost 62 cents per record. And then when you look at a 3.5-year lifetime value,
that means you can afford 16 cents for that particular record or email and mobile phone number.
And as you can see, you can afford to spend considerably more when acquiring contact details for these high-value customers. And you don't mind spending just over $2 or around $2 for somebody that's going to spend more when they buy things from you and buy from you more often. So I hope you find that helpful. Thanks for listening. Any of the templates that I've displayed, budget templates and things like that, they're all available on my blog, so I invite you to go there and you can download them from my blog or find a link to them, and you can reach that at www.whatsaleadworth.com, or simply send me an email if you're on LinkedIn. You'll find me there, Mark Carriere, MarcCarriere. Good luck and have fun. Bye-bye.